Hello, I'm Colleen Holder and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're coming to you from a location that really needs no introduction. This thatch-roofed jetty is one of the most photographed in the world, and the aquamarine waters and coral white sands of the beach here make it a landmark of Tobago. You guessed it, we're at the Pigeon Point Heritage Park. The property once belonged to Ansa McCall founder and chairman Anthony Sabga, but was acquired by the Tobago House of Assembly in 2005. The once private beach is now a place for the public to enjoy, at a minimal entrance fee, of course. We'll walk you along the sands and show you some of the facilities here at Tobago's leading tourist attraction. But first, let's tell you what's happening in our stories this week. Tobago launches its first ever Carnival City. Human trafficking in Tobago, the reality and how the island is dealing with it. And we'll tell you about the Tobago bands that made it to the national Panorama finals.
Right. I'm from Mariah, and the name of the business is The Right Aerobics Club, Wellness and Fitness Center. I want to open a spin club because I realized spin is the in thing now. And she said to me that she knows somebody working at the office at Glen Road. And it was shocking to me to see how quick I got through. Now that I have the 5 and people hearing about the spin here, phone calls, there's people just call me, want to come, go, get the information, and just apply.
Redefining business. Protecting Tobago's heritage.
This is Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome back to the Pigeon Point Heritage Park. With clear, calm, shallow waters, the beach here is one of the safest on the island, great for novice swimmers and snorkelers. The jetty is also a pickup point for glass-bottom boat tours to the Buko Reef and Nylon Pool, and the Heritage Park itself also has a lot to offer, as it's where you'll find the main stage for the Tobago Jazz Festival in April. And if music is really your passion, then this story will pique your interest as it contains an explosion of music, color, revelry and creativity. You see, Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival has spawned similar celebrations around the world, but no other can match the stunning spectacle of our festival. Tobago is also making its mark this year with a series of events leading up to Carnival Monday and Tuesday. We captured the opening of the centralized space for all things Carnival, Carnival City. The space was launched with a host of performances showcasing the island's culture.
Carnival is our culture. Tobago's Carnival is based on 5 pillars to shape our society. It's attractive to communities, strengthens the exposure of various art forms, reflects Tobago's uniqueness, broadens the base of economic opportunities, and is marketable to visitors. But it is more than just a parading on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Our shows include a mixture of the traditional and modern Carnival. All of this was in spectacle at the launch of Carnival City. The fever was unleashed.
That woman born and grow in Tobago, she went down San Fernando, where she became the queen of the road. She gave we fire, fire, if we wire, wire.
The cost of living is very high on basic food stuff, so tell me why you must smell a rat. It has kick and kick back in that.
So with a one job thing or a 2 job thing, just wind your bottom and catch the rhythm. Juggle look fast and juggle look slow, go down, girl, you a carnival bro. 1 job thing, 2 job thing, wind your bottom and catch the rhythm. Juggle look fast and juggle look slow, go down, eh.
1 and 1 forever, 3 and 4 can never. Don't bother waiting for a chance. 1 and 1 forever, 3 and 4 can never. This is our couples only. Come on, no catch you need, no but you need, yeah.
Traditional dances such as the bamboo, limbo, and the sailor dance weren't left out.
Tell me what you're waiting for. It's time to hit on the floor. I don't wanna sleep. I don't wanna sleep. I don't wanna
Carnival City is a space designed for entertainment, art and craft, and education during the Carnival season. I'm Sophie Guillaume for Let's Talk Tobago.
From the launch of culture to the launch of a career. It was during the inauguration of the new THA administration last year that this man became the Assistant Secretary for one of the divisions and the Assembly's Deputy Presiding Officer. But just a few weeks ago, those positions were revoked, and with that came the appointment to a higher position. Do you know who this is? Well, you're going to find out from Umidara Mills and learn the reason for the changes.
I, Dion Isaac, do solemnly affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago and will uphold the Constitution and the law.
That's the new Secretary for the Division of Settlements and Labour. Mr. Isaac was previously the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary. His new portfolio is due to the THA reshuffle, which took effect on Thursday, 13th February, when he was sworn in by President Anthony Carmona, who expressed his confidence in Mr. Isaac's ability to serve Tobago.
Public service is an onerous responsibility that you're only quite aware of. But I, in fact, feel very, very strong in my view that, in fact, that you will conduct yourself with the required probity, equipoise, and intellect, and do our nation proud in dispensing your responsibility.
Mr. Isaac's predecessor, Huey Cadet, takes the position of Secretary in the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport, while Councillor Gary Melville is now the Secretary for the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities. The changes are necessary because of the health of Assemblyman Hilton Sandy, who suffered a stroke last year and has not been able to carry out his duties since then. As Secretary Isaac takes up his new position, he pledges this:
that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as a Secretary in the Tobago House of Assembly and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection, or ill will.
Mr. Isaac was also the Deputy Presiding Officer of the THA, but due to the reshuffle, there will be a change in that position when the secretaries meet at the next plenary sitting. I'm Umidara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We now head to the east of Tobago, Roxborough, where there are homes provided by the Tobago House of Assembly and service lots that were given to residents of Belgarden. But the need to provide Tobagonians with affordable homes is being seen as a priority, and so the process is about to begin for the creation of yet more service lots in Belgarden.
It'll cost about $12 per square foot for 6,000 to 8,000 square feet of land, and by the end of September 2014, the lots should be completed, so that in the future, it can look like its neighbor, Phase 1. It is Phase 2 of the Belgarden housing project by the Division of Settlements and Labour. But before land works actually commence, the villagers got to voice their concerns. An environmental issue, that of the wetlands, was a major worry.
We are upgrading one of the existing drainage systems that goes into the wetlands. We are not adding any additional water into the wetlands, as well as those that do have to go into the wetlands. We have designed and approved detention ponds. A detention pond, it simply is like a basin that holds the water, restricts the flow, the quick flow of water going out of it.
This resident, Pearl Beach, echoed the sentiments of most of the villagers.
If you can elaborate on that, let us know how we can come in as citizens or people from Belgarden in all the tasks that you have outlined.
The contractors who will be coming on site are, I would say, indigenous or are very close to Belgarden. So many of the persons who are living in Belgarden, their skills as regards to carpentry, masonry, what laborers, semi-skilled laborers would be incorporated into the contractors' workforce.
Another focal issue for residents was the distribution of the service lots.
Belgarden's Housing Development Phase 2 is going to go through the same process that we've been using since 2008. It is going to be through the lottery system.
The development will provide for 45 service lots, which will accommodate about 30 homes. It'll offer proper drainage, an eco-friendly wastewater collection and treatment, and a network of roads. The process of constructing these lots is in keeping with the division's mandate to provide reasonably priced housing to Tobagonians. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take a break, but on the other side, we take a look at human trafficking in Tobago.
It's picture perfect with over 100 reasons to come. The intensely nurturing sensation of being so close to nature, the laid-back rhythm of the island, and of course the outstanding Tobago Jazz Experience 2014 brings to its main stage Keisha Cole, Grammy Award winners, Earth, Wind and Fire, Brandy, and the man himself, John Legend. Everything on one incredibly perfect island. The Tobago Jazz Experience 2014, April 19th to 27th. Much more than music.
You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome back. The beach isn't the only attraction here at the Pigeon Point Heritage Park. There's also this double-sided man-made waterfall with koi ponds, craft shops where you can buy anything from beachwear to CDs, and of course lots of souvenirs. Attractions for the foreign and local tourists alike. But let's look now at something more serious: human trafficking. It's defined as the exploitation of persons, whether for sex, forced labor or domestic servitude. Sadly, it's a billion-dollar global industry. Since the proclamation of the human trafficking laws in Trinidad and Tobago in 2013, the counter-trafficking unit has so far brought 4 cases before the courts, with one of those cases from Tobago. Let's take a look at what the unit is doing on the island to help sensitize Tobagonians and assist victims found on this island.
It is a serious crime. It's like any other murder, rape. It's a serious crime against human beings. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery against human beings.
And this crime is taking place in Tobago. Just last year, 2 female Latin American nationals between 18 to 25 years old were victims. They were given housing, counseling, and medical attention by the counter-trafficking unit in Trinidad. But now the unit is working with the THA to set up services on the island.
We had a workshop in Tobago, the first workshop with the Division of Health and Social Services, where we had persons from gender, from social services, probation officers, community police and other police officers at the workshop. And the discussion started about what can we do, what are the procedures we can put in place for the future if we have victims in Tobago. And it starts with identifying a safe place for them to stay.
And the unit also plans to extend the educational workshops to other divisions in the THA.
And we would like to sensitize senior persons within the THA, let's say the secretaries, and that's one of the things that we had talked about with Dr. Boris.
Young Tobagonians will also be a part of the public awareness campaign on human trafficking.
Young people are, especially now, particularly vulnerable to trafficking with the advent of social media, Facebook. We want to target the young people. We've done some of it, a couple schools in Trinidad where we spoke to young people, 6th formers, and we want to do that in Tobago as well.
Trinidad and Tobago is a source, destination, and a transit country for human trafficking. So here are some signs you can look out for. If you suspect that activities such as these are taking place in your community, report them to the police or the counter-trafficking unit. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
In this next story, you'll see bikinis, beads, feathers, and pretty masks, the things that generally dominate the carnival season. But there are other aspects of carnival, such as the traditional art forms, although on the fringes, local filmmakers are taking the time to document these traditions. Film lovers in Tobago recently got the chance to see 2 of these productions. Why were these films chosen, and what did patrons think about them? Well, here's Omadara Mills with the answers.
No boy man afraid, no stick man, no boy man afraid, no demand. Bah! Anansia, they're making a plan to kill you. They're making a plan to kill you. All them bombers want to stop you. When they see my blood.
That's just a snippet of No Boy Man No Afraid, an 82-minute documentary on the art of stick fighting in Trinidad. The Director of Community Development at the TTFF, Melvina Hazard, explains why this film has been chosen for the Tobago leg of the Carnival film screening caravan.
We understand that some of the schools that are participating in the visual arts and performing arts program do stick fighting as part of their syllabus. So we thought that this would be of educational values for the students and the teachers, and also for informative and entertaining value for the general public.
The audience also got to see another documentary which looks at the art of traditional wire bending, bullwhip making, and the making of the cowhead mask. The Director of Community Development explains the TTFF's objectives in choosing these films around at this time.
It's the whole idea of preserving the different aspects, especially the performative and the historical aspects of Carnival and the Carnival traditions. Because as you know, there are some aspects of Carnival that's very transient. So for us, the idea of being able to archive and document and share and distribute these types of stories and this type of information is very important.
This is the third year that the TTFF has done these film screenings at Carnival time in Tobago. Here's what patrons think about this initiative.
It's a good idea, and it exposes lots of people to what the local movie industry has to offer.
I believe it's an asset to our young people, even to the older ones, because they are, if you really look at it, some part of our culture is actually dying. And in order to hold on to it, I think it's given us an opportunity to allow our youths to actually express themselves and to see, well, what they are actually losing to the modern days.
The Division of Community Development and Culture encourages the screening of local films and supports the production of films on the island through its Film Development Initiative. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking another break, but coming up, a local Christian network celebrates a milestone.
What's up, it's John Legend. I'm very excited to be coming back to Tobago for the Tobago Jazz Experience on April 25th, 2014. I want to see you in the place, so make sure you get your tickets at www.tobagojazzexperience.com. I'll see you there on April 25th. Peace.
Thanks for staying with us. You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago. We're at the Pigeon Point Heritage Park. Here at the far end of the beach, you can sip a cool drink at the popular Renmar's restaurant and bar. The waves and the wind here are just great for water sports like jet skiing and windsurfing. And the waters here are so inviting that I think I'll pop in at the Radical Water Sports and suit up for some windsurfing. But first, you should know that in October last year, Tobago, along with the rest of the world, celebrated World Food Day. But this island celebrations not only focused on food security, but also the quality of food produced by farmers on this island. So much so that the two-day celebrations took on the form of a competition, and the farmers who participated are being rewarded for presenting their best in several categories. Here are some highlights of a few of the areas farmers competed in and the winners.
Farmers in Tobago are being held to a high standard as they provide meats, vegetables and preserved items to persons on the island, especially at World Food Day. Animal husbandry farmer Colleen Samuel is one of several persons who showed that his poultry, sheep, goats and rabbits are some of the best on the island when he was recognized for the presentation of his animals. For Tobago, the 2013 World Food Day theme of sustainable food systems for food security and nutrition has continued into 2014. And here's the reason for this.
Every individual in Tobago, Trinidad, and by extension the world, has the right to access food whenever he wants, in the quantities that he wants, the type of food that will suit his ethnic and cultural preference, the type of food that also will provide the necessary nutritional requirements that allows him to live a healthy life.
Other husbandry categories included wildlife, pigs and cattle. Farmers and home gardeners also received prizes in the root crops, vegetables and fruits category. At the prize-giving ceremony, farmers have been told that they should continue producing foods of excellent quality.
Seeing what you have done and what your standard represents as part of something larger, part of a greater trust towards pushing agriculture forward in Tobago, ensuring that we have the levels of production that we desire as an island to satisfy our needs, but to also hold that quality and that standard high, which has always been the Tobago standard.
But animals and plants are not the only categories. Evelyn Quashie, Gwendolyn Seeley, Joy Botswain George have been awarded prizes for their presentations in herbs and spices, wet and dry preservatives, and liqueurs categories. In the end, the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment awarded Bethel with the Best District booth for the 2013 World Food Day celebrations. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Well, if you switch your channel to 137 on the Trico cable network, you'll see faces that you're familiar with on the Tobago Inspirational Network. You'll notice that these shows are of a high standard with a range of programs for adults and youth alike. The channel seeks to encourage, enlighten, empower and entertain Tobagonians, but it also helps to develop the talents and skills of its members from the 25 churches involved with the network. Well, they've celebrated a milestone and Davia Chambers tells us about it.
There's never been a sweeter melody. It's a melody of love. In my heart there rings a melody.
We should give thanks. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for every aspect of one's life. Give thanks for visions. This organization is doing just that, giving thanks for the vision of starting the only network of its kind on island and being in operation for 2 years with 24-hour broadcasts, live streaming and programming, prayer time, children and youth segments.
2 years ago, we switched on the signal to channel 137. Since then, much has been accomplished, and I will share with you some of what we've accomplished over the last 24 months. Firstly, we have successfully broken the barrier of local programming. Except for some music videos and the Nigerian movies, TIN is exclusively local programming, produced in Tobago and Trinidad. This goes beyond conventional thinking in television production, which suggests that foreign programming is likely to generate more interest among locals. Today, TIN remains the only local channel airing 24-hour local programming.
In addition to creating many programs, the station also allows young people to be developed in many skills.
We have successfully become an integral part of society. Internally, we've hosted the 50 Hours of Praise program and the Night of Healing and Deliverance as two of our major events. TIN has also collaborated with the Jesus Rally Foundation and the Division of Community Development and Culture to conduct training sessions for media workers in churches. We trained over 50 people in 2012 and another 50 in 2013.
He says the network is all about showing that Tobago can conform to international standards in terms of its programming.
So we're not just putting together local programming and accept the fact that because we're in Tobago producing programming for Tobago, that it should be substandard. We obviously have to operate at international standards because we're aiming to go beyond Tobago.
More programs will be added soon. In August, TIN will again partner with the Division of Community Development and Culture to host their media course. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
And as we congratulate TIN on their anniversary, we'd also like to send kudos to the Tobago bands that made it to the National Panorama Finals. After their fiery performance of both of them, composed by Slinger Francisco, Hope Pangroovers is the only single pan band that made it to the finals. The band placed second with 278 points. And while they're the only ones from their category, there are 4 bands joining them in the finals, but in the medium category.
It is a serious musical war, the National Panorama competition. while Cats and Jammers managed to capture the 5th spot nationally and the top Tobago band in the National Panorama preliminaries, they climbed to 3rd place in the semi-finals with 270 points. But this time around, NLCB Buccaneers, who placed 6th in the preliminaries, took the 2nd spot in the semi-finals with 272 points, now leading the Tobago bands into the final competition. NGC Steel Explosion, playing Dust in Their Face, tied for 4th with 269 points. And the last medium Tobago band to take a place in the top 10 finalists was Carib Dixieland with 263 points. Out of a total of 14 medium bands, 10 passed the judges' muster to earn a play in the finals. Judges in this category were Joanne Ragbir, Richard Pear, Junior Howell, Jocelyn Seeley, Sherry-Ann Saunders, and Marcelin Peters. The finals, dubbed as a musical war, takes place on Saturday, March 1st at the Queen's Park, Savannah. Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's time to have Your Say, the segment of our program where we hear from you, our viewers. In 2002, the Pan in the Classroom program was launched. Its aim to promote the use of the national musical instrument. This is ideal as the Tobago leg was the brainchild of a team formed in 1999 by a group of teachers passionate about the heritage and promotion of the steel pan. Since its inception, Pan has been on the curriculum of a number of schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago, with some schools forming their own steel orchestras. We're also seeing an increase in the number of young players participating in national Pan competitions. So today we're asking, what do you think are the benefits of Pan being taught in schools? This is what you said.
I believe teaching any art form in school is beneficial to any student and beneficial to the country on a whole, because you're creating well-rounded students who understand their culture. Pan is a very big thing for Trinidad and Tobago. People often forget that this is the national instrument, right? And teaching it in school, you're giving them a first-hand experience into the history, into how the instrument is created, how it's played, and that kind of thing. You're not only going to create people just pan men, but you might create people who want to invent different types of pans, because you have the G-pan now, right? You're going to probably get people trying to push the pan further in different aspects.
Is something that will push the youths of the future in the correct place, because I mean that is what represents us as a people in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is very important for the youths in today's society to learn more about our culture. They can do this through learning how to play pan. They learn about, you see, when you think about pan, people just think that it's about learning how to play the instrument too, but you learn more about the history, you learn more about our culture and where it came from.
It has encouraged the young children to know well the culture of Tobago, exactly.
Helps them realize that pan was created in their country, and it shows them that they could, that just like how other countries show their instrument, they could show their instrument as well.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. Do remember you can send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Colleen Holder, on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information. Have a safe and enjoyable week. And as we go, we leave you now with some final scenes from the Pigeon Point Heritage Park.